Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new night point of view review. In front of us is the new Dacia Duster. This is the top trim called Extreme. It's the off-road package, and if I press the light button you can see the LED headlights. Now you can turn them off, and if I press the unlock button you can see the daytime running lights. Now inside is the 1.2 liter TCE. It's a 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine producing 130 horsepower. This is the all-wheel drive version, and this is also now a mild hybrid. It has a 48 volt battery. It's 0.8 kilowatt hour. It has the electric motor that acts as a starter for the petrol, aids it when you kick down, when you're coasting switches to that, and when you're braking it recuperates and charges that little battery. We're sitting on 18-inch alloys. The Extreme trim comes on all season Continental tires, specially developed for the Duster, and they should have better stopping distance than the regular tires from Continental. The Journey trim, which is also top trim, that's not off-road oriented, is coming on Hankook summer tires. Now the Extreme version is a bit taller than the Journey, which is a bit lowered for better aerodynamics. Now once again here to show you the lights. If you hold it too long it starts beeping, but if you hold it shortly it lightens up. You can see the beautiful back taillights. They're not LED, but they do look nice. And finally they've added cold LED license plate illumination, so it matches the front cold LED lights. You can see them on the front. Now also warm light inside, and the Extreme trim has this extra light that you could take off and then you could use it. You can actually put it on top here as well, so that is very practical. I guess you can buy these because these are just latch on to the anchor points you have. Cargo space is more or less still the same size. They've pulled the bench to the back, allowing more interior space for the rear passengers, but kept the same size. Key in my pocket, and let's jump inside. Okay, so you're greeted with this little animation. There's a greeting sound, but I just switched it off in the infotainment. Now you can see the interior, and finally start stop button, keyless entry. So Duster had a lot of new upgrades from the Renault group. Turn on the car. I'm gonna put it to neutral just for a moment. We're gonna play some music. So let me just see here. I can't play for too long not to get a copyright strike. You know, the sound system is, I'd say, okay. It's not great, but it's not bad also, so it's very nice. Now one thing I figured finally, you all know that the new European laws require a chim or a sound when you're passing over the speed limit and when the speed limit sign changes. Now here there's a shortcut for the assist. Okay, if I go to the car driving assistance, on the personal, here you can go to the configure. You can turn over speed, audible warning, and limitation change sound. Now this button here, let me just flip a light on. This light here, when you press this on, it says my safety all on. My safety personal selected. So with this button on the side you can, without tapping here, going into the menu, let me just see here. Okay, it brings me to the off-road menu. Let me just turn on the cameras. You can turn on the cameras when you're reversing, but also when you're off-roading, so you're like slow. Look at this. You can see the angle of the wheels. The cameras are actually Not super sharp, but they're quite good for parking, and they look even better at night because you don't notice the poor resolution. Okay, but with this button you can turn off, you can see the mute sign, the annoying sounds. And here we have Nokia's here. I think that's Nokia. Maps takes a little while to load for the first time, but then when you go in and out of the app, it just switches fast. There's also a setting inside here as well to have sounds, so you can turn them off as well. So there's this one, and then there's this one. I've set up here, you can see the speedo here as well. It's an option. And here, if you go to the settings, there is, I showed you that in the in-depth review, hopefully you've watched it, probably the most detailed review on internet, excuse me, or YouTube. There's a lot of just, you know, videos copying my in-depth review, but they're like 15 minutes long. They cannot show you the whole car. Appearance, and then here you have a day and night, so you can switch it automatically. For some reason, I guess it didn't fit their budget. And before we drive out, you can see here Apple CarPlay. Resolution is nice and sharp on the screen. Finally, the new screen is great. It's more than we asked for or expected in Dacia, to be honest. And then we have the TFT screen here, which is also great. I'm going to press the OK. That's going to reset the fuel consumption. Hold it for 3 seconds. There we go. And here with the arrows, you have, so you can have like a full display with no sides on, or you can have the navigation, eco monitor, compass. You can have the energy flow, so either the petrol's moving the car, or when you're coasting, it's moving on the battery, and when you're braking, it's charging the battery. Odometer and fuel consumption. And then we have these pages. This one's minimalist, and this one's like with a distance, which the camera decides if you're close enough. I think it's gonna brake for the pedestrians, but it is not cruise distance. And then you also have, of course, the lane prevention, so it's gonna keep you from passing the line to other lane, but it's not gonna keep you in the lane. And yeah, the third one, or the default, is the also rev counter. Okay, and one thing before we really go is here you can see off-road, so 4-wheel drive lock, so this enables for off-roading, 4-wheel driving. There's of course snow, mudded sand, and automatic. There's eco. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to keep on the automatic. Now on the automatic and eco, the gear ratio is a bit shorter, and let's start driving. And it was like that the last time, but when you put it to all-wheel drive, it feels like normal gear ratio. The gears are a bit longer. I've noticed it when I pick up the car, but now maybe not so much. Okay, some of you are gonna notice I'm again at the original spot where I used to film. The other place, there's just some cab driver, I don't know, group. Okay, where to start? Well, before I start summoning impressions on the road, let me just talk a little bit about the interior. Now, the interior is, compared to the second generation, much better. I would say it's like a budget posh feeling. Let's start from the steering wheel. The steering wheel is nice and almost squishy, not squishy, but there's like this nice leather in your hands. It's might be vegan leather, not real leather, but okay, just interruption. So I was saying the windows are kind of short, the windshield is short, so if you're a tall person, you can't see the traffic light, so you have to turn on the sides to notice it. Now, 130 horsepower feels enough for the Duster because it's light. If you go for the hybrid 140 horsepower, then more, and the electric motor feels a bit nicer, honestly. But I would say it's enough if you drive this like a petrol. I'm saying this because I like to drive cars like diesel, low revolutions. I don't like to hear the engine screaming, but for the petrol, you're supposed to make it scream and put it to high revs. But then you use most of the torque, and it's very, responsive. It's fast. Now, yeah, I was talking about the interior. Some of the details, like the steering wheel, this little thing you hold in your hands, the new, finally, first digital cockpit in the Duster, looks very nice. It's not super advanced like Audi, but hey, it's really nice. The infotainment is amazing, nice and fast. All the great deals, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, just, and then you have the physical AC controls still, which is great. I love the Duster. It's just really a budget. It's like they're saying we are value for money. That's what Skoda used to be. Their prices went slightly up, but also Dacia is trying to position themselves in there, and I think they're doing a good job. Now, this particular car is almost 30,000 euros. It's 29, but this is like all the bells and whistles. So, but you don't need to have all of those things. It's quite well equipped in the middle trim as well. Now, we've been at a press conference, and this was showcased on a little bit off-road. It's mostly driving through a vineyard and some kind of obstacles, but I was nonetheless impressed with the capabilities of this all-wheel drive version. There is a whisper of automatic all-wheel drive version, hopefully with slightly more horsepower. And currently, I would personally go for the Journey trim and hybrid system because of the automatic. But if you would get like a mild hybrid with the automatic, that would be really cool. And if it's an all-wheel drive, even cooler for some of you who are into all-wheel drive. So that's that. Now, seats, I've said in my detailed review, and they've said yes, they have improved the seats. And for short journeys, for an hour drive, it's fine. Again, can't see the traffic light at all. Yeah, they've added a dense foam and then a soft foam. That's what they told me. And, these really feel nice for an hour driving. But after 2 hours of driving, I again started to get some butt pain, some cramps. Now, to be fair, in the previous model, second generation, I had them like after half an hour driving. It was really painful. In a lot of models, the seats were just not enough comfortable, but they've addressed that issue. Now, this petrol is a bit loud, especially has that specific 3-cylinder sound and a petrol sound. I'm not a huge fan of petrol engines when it comes to ICE. I prefer the diesel because of more momentum, but because of the politics and the emissions, they've removed the diesel out of the options, so there's no more diesel anymore. Well, we're not going to cry about it, but I think most of the people went in and bought the diesel second generation before it was discontinued. Now, overview generally in this car, despite low windshield and not able to see the traffic light if you're too close, is good. Still, for the mirrors, the back view is a bit narrow and you can see further behind you, but then again, for the parking we have the 360 cameras and it's all fine. Now let's see our fuel consumption. Actually, I haven't really tried to be gentle. Yeah, it's 8. We're gonna see. I think it's gonna start dropping, but today when I was driving more gently it was 7 and then it was going towards 8. I don't drive the manual so often, and this is a new car, so the clutch hasn't been worked out. I'm a bit rough with it. I need to spend a little time with it to get that nice feeling and do nice transitions when shifting. But when the engine goes through the break-in period of 1,000 kilometers, let's say, then I think, you know, it should be fine, and maybe the fuel consumption would go a little bit down. So minimalist, and then this one's with the distance in front of you, although there's no traffic in front of me, but it's like for the 2-second rule for a safety distance. So let's just speed up here a little bit more. Yeah, see, just speeds up very nicely. Sorry, I just forgot about the navigation. There we go. So stability, I actually went in the bend with the all-wheel drive, and it's all-wheel drive driving mode, and it's very stable, not leaning too much like the second generation. Now we're gonna get to the highway and speed up a little bit. Now comfort, on the back it's still a torsion beam. They've said they've made it more elastic, so you should less feel those potholes. So a little interruption, having problems with the GoPro, but suspension is quite okay, and you know, it's fine over the speed bumps, potholes and uneven parts. Better than the second generation. Okay, we're gonna speed up here. Hopefully the GoPro won't continue making problems. A little bit of traffic. Now the LED headlights are in person great. I know the GoPro doesn't give it a justice. Gonna slow down. So this is 100 soundproof, and then I'm just gonna speed up a little bit. So 140, then going towards 150, it's very loud. There's like a whistling sound. It's a box shaped SUV, so, but up to 130 I think it's improved compared to the second generation. Especially up to 100 kilometers, this car is much better soundproofed. Now let me show you here the speed limiter. Actually, this one's yeah, speed limiter. Okay, there's 100 here, but it's just an overpass. Now, I don't know why the blind spot isn't working. It works sometimes and it just decides not to work. It just recently happened on a few cars. Okay, cruise control setting. Set up the speed. So we have the cruise control. It works nice. Now watch what happens when I get close to the lane. Ah, the car corrects me. And, you know, slightly pulls me towards the center. Now notice that the car won't brake. Show you the distance between you and the guy in the front, but it doesn't brake for you. So this is one of the reasons why Duster didn't get the... This is our exit. Okay, the blind spot works now. So this is one of the reasons why Duster didn't get the 5-star Euro NCAP test, crash test rating, because of the fact it doesn't have the radar for cruise distance and lane keeping assist. So yes, I mean, it's still safe for you, but okay, one of the things that were concerning were driver torso injury. It's probably related to the airbag. That was not the greatest, but the rest is, I mean, it got, don't get me wrong, it got a passing grade for safety, but it's not the best grade. It's just, it's like good. It's not great or excellent. So it's not bad, it's good. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna switch these off. Still the lane thing will be on. Now I'm gonna go to the middle lane, and some people were complaining the last time I was telling about traffic, but I'm gonna stay in the middle lane. I'm driving according to the speed limit. Right lane is for slow traffic, left lane's for fast traffic. So, and there's no traffic. It's night, in the middle of the night. Very rare traffic. And I'm gonna turn left anyways on the traffic light. So as I'm driving, you can see that the fuel consumption has started dropping towards 7. I will do a consumption test and just at some point cut in the fuel consumption. Okay, zooming in at the consumption, 5.3 after 50 kilometers. So it stabilized around 5.2, but starting going slightly up because head for more of a traffic lights this night, but this is cruising between 60 and 80 kilometers per hour in automatic driving mode. Okay, LED headlights test. So I'll just stop here. Long beam is warm, but you know, it's decent. You see long beam, quite good performance, and then LED. You can see it, the LED rises a little bit as well, so it's a mix, and then you can see it drops at the end here. those took a while. The brakes are really good, but yeah, it's not that fast. It's still 130 horsepower. It is light, but it just feels like not fast enough for doing 0 to 100 in general. I mean, when you're on a highway, you need to speed up for overtaking. Should be fine if you're not fully loaded, but for 130 horsepower, but generally it's not for drag racing, I guess. Now you can see there's like above the speed limit little shift up or shift down, but it doesn't tell you in which gear you are, and I think I've mentioned that on the previous model. I think they had that symbol as well. Just, it would be nice to know in what gear I am on the display as well. Green light. Okay, I wanted to type in the navigation where I'm going, but I guess I'll do that on the go. Let's see if I can use the voice command here. Oh, that goes to Siri. Okay, not what I wanted. Let's see here. Search. Okay, Avenue Mall, yes. I misspelled it, but it figured what I wanted. Let's go. Updating route. Okay, recenter, yes, please. Okay, so you know where you need to stay in which lane.
Speed trap reported ahead.
Thank you, so that's Waze. Let me just see here if I switch to... You can see the engines powering and then batteries feeding the car, or the car's feeding the battery. Now let me just see here. Okay, navigation. Huh, there's just the arrow that doesn't do anything. It's quite disappointing, to be honest. I was expecting like where to turn or something like that, but it is what it is. But the navigation here is quite nice, so that's still, considering what you had in the second generation, really nice, huge improvement. And I would say, yeah, the Duster is definitely now value for money. Now the very base trim doesn't have the screen, but you can put your phone. But don't go buying the base trim. You don't get even the automatic AC, so in the winter your windshield is going to be condensating. Just go for the middle trim or for the top trims, then you get the automatic AC. Time to sum up the car. Yeah, what a great upgrade through one generation. I mean, Dacia obviously decided to, Renault decided to give them more budget. They've decided to, you know, give them a better equipment, better technology is reserved for Renault, because Dacia before, you know, they just said we're gonna make it the cheapest car, and now they're past that. They've met the volumes and just decided, hey, let's make this a more income car. Okay, that's the parking sensors. Okay, so just so you can hear the petrol. So not too loud, but you can hear it inside maybe more. But the hybrid is better, slightly more quiet, I would say. Okay, I like to park somewhere where there's more street lights. Excuse me, street lights. There's neon lights, so you can see the car slightly better. But I guess these are mostly off. Okay, we'll park here. Yeah, so just another, okay, push up and then first gear for the reverse. So I need to go a little bit forward perhaps. There we go. Okay, I think that's fine. Yeah, let me just flip the light on. Boy oh boy, this really is a great car now. This used to be a very Spartan car. I would call this a beater. You wouldn't care if you get the base trim, you scratch it, it doesn't matter, you know, you just go off-roading with this thing. But this now, it's still good for off-roading, but it just feels like a decent car. It feels like a really, what I've said, budget posh. The design is nice. This now is like great. The infotainment, the digital cockpit, it's just great value for money right now, considering the inflation, of course. But again, middle trim, well equipped, doesn't have tinted windows in the back. But if you go for the journey trim or the extreme, you get it all. There are a few options, but look at this, USBs that illuminate front and rear. I mean, in a Dacia, wow. Just if you place something else here right now on the badge, and just people who are not into cars, tell them, you know, look at this and what do you think what this car is, and I'm pretty sure they would, you know, say this is something else. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it here. Get out and admire the beauty. The exterior is really as well just amazing. Just let me just figure out, it's dark, how to turn on the lights. No, I guess you have to hold it for a moment. Okay, let it finish its thing. So hold. No, I can't figure it out. I thought I figured it out, but oh, it's just like a short press. So you can see the LED headlights, and you can see a little bit of this green color on this side because there's a light on this end. So it just looks so good. I really love the new design and love the fact that these are cold LEDs. Like they were listening and watching my reviews, because I really like when it's a match. Just it's just, the car looks so great from the back end, from the front end. I just can't get enough of it. It really looks good. It's tall now. It's taller. It's more spacious inside. It just, I love the hybrid. Hybrid is for me. I'm gonna have it on a test a little bit later, so I'll do all this again. But once again, amazing car. I'm gonna wrap it here. Just I can keep talking about this car, but it's a great car finally. I love the fact that Dacia has grown into a little bit more serious brand rather than just being the cheapest car out there. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye.